Well, I'm just getting myself organized. I almost forgot about the weekly. Sorry, became very busy today, and I had some things I had to run around doing. And I think you blew. It's Friday, going to be Saturday. So this is the weekly starting today, and it will go on again until next Friday. Excuse me, I don't remember the dates, but I'll figure that out in a minute. Anyway, so we're going to do this just an overall for every sign, and we're going to look at the energies that are going to concur in regards to this next 7-day structure. Now, one of the things that's really fascinating is, first of all, we have St. Patty's, so all the Irish and Irish descent I have a bit in there. Happy St. Patty's for Sunday. The thing that's quite amazing is that we move into Aries on the 20th. This is a fantastic new energy. It's the beginning of the real year in the astrological sense because it starts with the beginning, which is Aries. Mars attacks, right? So on a world level, we'll probably see some real dynamics playing out. We're not quite at that full moon eclipse in Aries. That's the following week on the 25th, and it'll take the 26th, 27th for us to really, okay, something's, the brick has fallen. But it hits exactly on the 25th. So we're just going to see here what is going to go on for this period of time directly ahead of us. Interesting, a lot of major arcana right at the beginning of the reading in here. Quite interesting. Well, it's not really negative. It's just quite interesting. So I think I mentioned in a few of the different readings that all these things were sort of building up, that there was this build-up. And a lot of that has to do with the fact, too, that we are at the end of the cycle. This is the 12th sign. Pisces, Saturn's here. It's got some pretty powerful players going on. I believe it's Mars that also moves into the show before we get into this stuff with the movement into Aries, excuse me. So one of the things you've got here at the beginning of the reading for everybody is we've got the Magician card. The Magician card to me is always a great card. I mean, some people look at it as being negative, they look at it as being horrible. What this has to do is summing up. So I'd say today and tomorrow, take a look at what's going on in your experience. The Magician means right in front of you, you've got everything there, right? You have the pentacles, you have the swords, you have, the cups, you have the staff. So this is all suits. This is the fire, water, air, and earth. And the Magician to me has to do with choices. It has to do with, okay, am I going to be shown what sucks and what's not working? Probably, because the card next to it is Judgment. So that's a very karmic energy. So we're sort of being shown, wait a minute here. We're going to see this on a world level too. We're going to see, I know politically here in Canada, politically in America, politically in Britain. I mean, the whole West is definitely being shown. And with today's day and age, with technology and communication, there's no running from anything. And I say this to people about their lives. I make cash under the table. Well, be very careful because you're putting that cash somewhere and or paying a bill. And the powers that be, the government, etc., are watching everything you're doing. So they know you're not living for nothing. So just be a little careful. So one of the things we've gotten here is this Judgment with Magician, meaning up against the next few days, sort of thinking, okay, come to this crossroads. Judgment can also represent the fact too that if I'm going to go further, I need to commit to this, this, and this. It could also have a lot to do too with paying attention to synchronicities and people in our experience and how those people affect us and how they affect our life direction. There's no such thing as out of the blue. You have a cigarette, you sit and have a cigarette. You sit and have a conversation with someone and they start speaking about the very thing that's in the back of your mind. That's usually Spirit's way, and it's a synchronistic energy spiritually. Now, there's a couple of women in here. Presumably, I still believe that queens are women, unless they've got 4-inch heels on and tons of drag makeup. The aspect in here about these two different women are an interesting energy because the women represent two different factors. Whether in fact they're linked to the Magician and the Judgment, I'm not certain. But there's the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords. And there's frustration. So, I mean, one of the things I think that's happening here before we get into the latter part of next week is an understanding of what it is that's working for us. And this could be the differential of the Magician Judgment at the beginning, because the Queen of Cups obviously represents this nurturing energy. In my tarot card, she's looking backward, and she's very, very casually drinking her wine or her tea, sort of looking over her structure in her life. And of course, the Queen of Swords, you don't want to mess with her. And I know a lot of air signs, because she's saying, let's find out the information. There's judgment, right? Let's get the information about this. That mercurial, Libran or Aquarian energy. Let's get to the bottom of it. And then we have the Eight of Swords, which is, to me, a frustrating energy to be stuck in, but there's many ways around this. So this next week, when we're moving into the constellation of Aries, it could be that each and every one of us is sort of looking at, okay, this is my dilemma. These are my choices ahead of me. Where do I go from here? I can't run. I can't stick my head in the ground like an ostrich. I've got to take responsibility. But I'll tell you, right after that, as we further into the week, and we're in that Aries energy, even though it's the beginnings, we have the Star card, and we have the Eight of Wands. So those wands are replicated past this star into a much more fiery, passionate energy. So it makes total sense to me that we're leaving this Piscean energy and we're actually taking complete, passionate control over direction. This is what I want. This is the direction I'm going to go in. If I fall flat, oh well, at least I've attempted. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I would say through the next week or so, we're not, any of us, in a really horrific station. That's not to say the world's not going to be through conflict. But I've always said there's always two sides to an argument and two sides to a situation. It's never one person's innocent and the other one is, unless, of course, it's to do with complete and utter violence. But in this situation, in the reading here, I would say a lot of things are happening that are enabling us to jump all the way to the end of next week to get to this star energy and to make some pretty strong, passionate decisions about, okay, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. A lot of energy and a lot of water under the bridge, no pun intended, being in Pisces, will take place now through the 20th when we do move into that energy of Aries. And it's the spring solstice. It's a very spiritual day. So I would just, really put it out there right now. What I would do for tonight, tomorrow, and even the beginning of Sunday. Take a look at all your options. Take a look at it all. Pay attention to the people you interact with, what they're talking about, what's going on. If you listen to social media, if you go out with friends over the weekend, which a lot of people do, pay attention. Pay attention to people's frustrations. Pay attention to what their remedies are in regards to how they perceive themselves being able to change some of these things. And I would say as we sort of progress forward into the latter part of next week, things will turn out a lot better than we actually thought they would. Anyway, you heard it here first. If you are interested in getting a reading, remember in Canada here we have the special on. I have the special on, which is an hour for $101.70, and it includes HST. And if you're looking to have a 40-minute reading, which is only on the phone, the other one, the full one, is on the phone or in person. It is $67.80. Sorry. And I do the short little catch-up readings for half an hour in Canada that are $56.50. That's $50 plus HST. Now the international, American, Europe, everything else, it's $100 US, payable on my PayPal through my website www.psychichunterdavidwilliamson.com. Anyway, I wish you guys all the best. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great weekend. There's a lot going on all around everywhere, so just get out and be positive. Try to change the energy around. Don't look at things as a Debbie Downer. Try to switch things around. We're still in spring. It's warmer and cooling off a little. It'll get warm again. Always a bit of an appetizer. It's like a preheat. Anyway, I wish you guys all the best. You heard it here first.